Hey there guys, gals, and non-binary pals, GM Potter here. Welcome to my channel where I talk about books and bookish things. I upload on Tuesdays and Thursdays at noon Central Time. I am an independent author, an avid reader, and a cat mama of 4. And today, as I'm filming this, it is July 8th, which means we are 2 days into the hardest reading challenge you'll ever do, part 3. And this time, instead of going in without a plan, I am going in with a plan. So let's go over the plan. So it's a new challenge, so I have a new notebook. If you're not familiar with the hardest reading challenge you'll ever do, it was created by QWERTY here on YouTube. Essentially, it is a bingo board of 25 prompts, and each prompt is its own reading challenge. So you're doing 25 reading challenges in one. As you can assume from the name, this is the third iteration of the challenge. And we're going to start with the white prompts. Coming in first, we have the periodic table, which is to read 5 books with an element from the periodic table in the title. Examples include hydrogen, potassium, helium, calcium, lithium. I think we're all familiar with the periodic table, or at least we should be. As far as planning, I'm doing my planning based on my physical TBR and the books currently on my wish list. And at this point in time, I don't have any books with an element from the periodic table, so I don't have anything for this one. The second prompt is familiar terms. Read books with a familial term in the title. Some examples include father or fathers, mother or mothers, mom, dad, brother. For this one, I do have one book on my physical TBR, and that is The Other Bennet's Sister. This one is the book that the BBC show is based on. I read the book when it first came out back in, I want to say 2020. So this one is a reread, but I read it originally about more than 5 years ago, so it does count. Then we have Traipsing Through Regions. This one is, the description on this one is, last year we had continents, but let's dig deeper into many regions we have in the world. You can interpret this as cultural or natural regions, however you like. But you must read 5 books, and they must all be different. And for this one, I have X's and O's, which takes place in the Pacific Northwest. And I'm doing these based on just a cursory glance of what's in my TBR. I haven't dug that deep into it. Then we have Road Trip. Choose 5 books from different states, but they cannot be set in New York or California. They dominate the publishing world, and there's so many more. You may also choose to do other countries and provinces, prefectures, etc. You do not have to do the U.S., but you cannot do the most major province, state, etc. of your area. So for this one, I have The Adventures of Claudie, which it is a road trip book, and she does start, I believe, in New York, but the whole point of the book is getting to Georgia. So we're going to do that. Then we have Bookception. Famous literature is often in the literature we read. Find a book that mentions another book that exists in the real world and read them both. The caveat on this one is not to use Harry Potter. That is the creator's wishes. We will respect that. So I don't have any for this one, so I'll probably be filling this one out when I get to a book that does this. You can double up one book for 2 prompts, so this one might be a book that counts as something else. I do have a couple books in mind, but none that are on my TBR or wish list at the moment. Next, we have the Not So Secret Prompts Anymore. During HRCYED 2, there was a new secret prompt for each month. Some of them you did, and some of them you missed, but now you have the opportunity to do all 12 of them. So they are read a whole book outside. I believe this one doesn't have to be in one sitting. I will double check that. If it does, I'm going to read a shorter book, or wait until the fall or what passes for spring here in North Texas, because it is just too darn hot. Number 2 is a craft on the cover, or listen to an audiobook while crafting. I'll probably get this one done at the end of this month. I don't have a book in mind. I'm waiting on a few holds from my library for audiobooks, but I'm going to be pet sitting at the end of this month, so I usually have more time for crafting, and I get through more audiobooks while I'm dog sitting. Number 3 is a pun in the title. The weird thing is, I don't think I have any books on my TBR with a pun in the title, which is surprising, because most, especially romances, which is what I read a lot of, romances, fantasy, there's usually a pun in the title, and I don't have one, or at least not one that I can find. So number 4 is a first and last name in the title, and that one I have Verity Fox and the Curse of Foxfire is on my TBR. 5, Missed Childhood chapter book, and that one is The Midnight Club by Pike. That one came out in 1994, so it does fit in. I would have been a little young to read that one, but it was always at the library. I just never picked it up. Number 6 is a book that from the I'll Get Around to It tag. I haven't really explored this tag, so I'll see what I have that I should get around to. Number 7 is Joseph's coat color in the title, and there are a lot of coat colors in that, so I have plenty to choose from. Number 8 is a title that is the exact same as another book, and for that I have Game On by Nevessa Allen and Game On by Zara Orland. So they're both romances. One is a darker romance, if you know you know. The other one is I believe it's a hockey romance. Number 9 is Doom Scroll Your Read. So this one, as you're on social media scrolling through, you find a book on there that looks interesting from one of the various book talkers or bookstagrammers or however you consume social media. You go out, you find the book, you read the book. Obviously, since this is one based on social media, I do not have a book on my TBR. Yes, there are several books that I have purchased because of social media, like authors that I know or authors with really good campaigns. I just haven't done that recently, and I feel like using one off my existing TBR would be not in the spirit of the prompt. Number 10 is a cover that features motion. So there's got to be emotion, there's got to be movement for this one, and in glancing over the covers on my TBR, I didn't find one. That's not to say there isn't one, but just glancing over the covers and the titles, I didn't find one. 11 is your most recent acquisition. I have so many books on my TBR, I honestly don't even know what that is. Like, I literally don't know which one I got most recently, which is a problem and why I'm trying to plan this based on my TBR. And number 12 is last name is a first name. And for that one, I have the Sunbarrel Trials by Aidan Thomas. So that one is on my physical TBR. I read his book, Cemetery Boys, and I pre-ordered Espiritu, which is the sequel. This is from his back catalog, and I'm really looking forward to it. Cover styles. Books have all sorts of cover styles, but sometimes we drift into the ones we like best. For extra difficulty, choose your read based on cover styles you don't normally choose. After all, we shouldn't judge a book by its cover, but this time we'll let it slide. Read 4 different books, each with a different book cover style. Do your research respectfully. Covers using AI are not permitted. This isn't to say we should go on a witch hunt to say, oh, this person, because sometimes we can be mistaken. Sometimes it's really obvious if it's AI, and sometimes it's less obvious. So we're not going to inspire a witch hunt here. Then we have Titular Counting, which is a book with 1 word in the title, 2 words, 3 words, all the way to 10. And oddly enough, I do have books either on my wish list or on my physical TBR that fit this one. Only 2 books are on my wish list, so I have 8 books that fit this. So for 1 word title, we have Wild Blood, which is one that I found on social media. Get Lost, then Fall I Want, which I guess is a pun, but at this point in the reading challenge, I don't want to double up. 4 is You Pierce My Soul. 5 is Where There's Room for Us. 6 is The Little Shop of Grand Curiosities. 7 is Violet Thistlethwaite is Not a Villain Anymore. 8 is Red, White, and Royal Blue, The Private Correspondence. Number 9 is How to Tell If Your Canine is a Demon. And then number 10, A Good Man is Hard to Find, and Other Stories. So the 2 that I don't physically have is The Little Shop of Grand Curiosities and A Good Man is Hard to Find, and Other Stories. So most of these I have. Next we have Characters to Authors, which is build a chain of reads by taking the main character's name and finding an author with the same first name. You could take the name of the main character in that book and build off it, or you may just pick 3 books with 3 different characters' names and find authors who have those names. Do this 3 times. So I guess that's a total of 6 books. So I haven't started this one. I haven't done any planning for this one. We'll see how it goes. And then the next one in the spirit of the chaining is Shiratori which is take the title of a book and then use the last letter of that title to start the next book. Or you may use the entire last word in the title, but your next read must start with that whole word. You may exclude the the, a, or an, etc. if you choose the word version. You must connect all 5 books in one long chain. I haven't planned for this one. Then we have numerical titles. You counted the number of words, now you must make sure that there is a number in that title. You must do the words 1 through 10, plus one more of a random number. I have 2 books for this on my physical TBR. The first is One Dark Window, and the second is its sequel, Two Twisted Crowns. I love The Knight and the Moth. I'm really excited for The Knave and the Moon. This is the same author, Rachel Gillig, so hopefully these are good. Rainbow of Words. Find titles with the color in the titles as one of the words. 1 for each, no doubling up within the prompt. Sorry, red, white, and royal blue readers, you only get 1. So this one, the colors are red, orange, yellow, green, blue, purple, pink, white, black, silver, and gold. That one, I don't think I have any color word because it says purple, not violet, and violet is a name, not a color in that title. So, but I'm sure I'll find some. Then we have Animal Families. Just have 6 books with 6 different animals that are considered very different. This is not read 6 books that have different dog breeds on the cover. This is more like you have a dog, a bird, a lizard, a whale, a monkey on the cover. You can, of course, get really obscure with this and go into hard mode because the basics are just 6 very different animals on the book covers. They don't even have to be super featured much in the book, just on the cover. And I know I have 2 for this. They are in a series. The first one is The Pussy Next Door, which features a cat on the cover. And then the other one is The Wiener Across the Way, which features a wiener dog. They're very cheeky titles, and again, that is kind of a pun. I think it's more of a double entendre than a true pun. But again, at this stage in the planning, I am not doubling up. Next, we have Biomes. Books trace all through the world and many other countries. Find 6 covers featuring different landscapes and biomes that exist in our world. This only needs to be featured on the cover, but if the book largely takes place in one of the biomes, etc., or ecosystems, etc., you may also use that. Examples, non-exhaustive: mountains, urban, conifer forest, desert, aquatic, deciduous forest, swamp, tundra, shrublands, tropical, savanna, temperate rainforest, wetland, woodlands, suburban, grassland, boreal forest, countryside. Then we have Remix, which is many stories have been told time and time again with deviations, alternate POVs. Time to find 5 different variations of stories you know. For this one, I'm choosing an indie book from an author who is fast becoming a friend of mine, and that is The Dragon Saint. It's a retelling of Sir George and the Dragon and King Arthur. Like, it's kind of those 2 mashed together, and I think it would go really well. It's the first in a series. There's 2 more books in that particular series, so we'll see what the next 2 books hold, because I did buy all 3 from her, once at a fair and then twice more at a book club where she was the featured author, because it just sounded so intriguing. Next, we have Food Pyramid. Choose 5 books with 5 different kinds of foods that would fit into the food pyramid. It does not have to be the official food pyramid, as it seems to constantly change, but in the spirit of the food pyramid by reading books with different elements of food on the cover. Proteins, fruits, veggies, grains, dairy, healthy fats, sweets and desserts, oils, beverages, spices, etc. Also, this is not a technically this is edible prompt. It must be food for humans. She has spoken. Next we have, and I don't have any books for that one. Next we have Mother Nature. I love me some weather, even if it's more on the cover. Read 6 books with different weather or nature elements on the cover. I don't have any for this. This is looking like it's not great planning, but I promise I'll make it up with the next, which is a backlist author. We all have authors we love and always say we need to read more of their work. Now is your chance. Read 5 books from a favorite authors that you haven't read yet. You can read 5 from 1 or 1 from 5 or any combo. They just cannot be rereads. A soft DNF book is fine. So for this one, I am doing Stephen King because he has an extensive backlog, and for that I'm doing Sleeping Beauties and You Like It Darker, which are both in this room, and then I have 3 more books in my bedroom on my Stephen King shelf that are Holly, the Bachman books, and then The Eyes of the Dragon. So that is 5. And then we have I Must Endeavor to Acquire These Creatures. Pocket monsters have lots of different types. Read 5 books that that personify 5 different types of pocket monsters. It can feature on the cover, in the word, or a word in the title, or overall vibes of the book. And there are a lot of different Pokemon types. And for this one, for dark type, I have to wield the Darkest Night, and then I have the second or third book in the Dragon trilogy for Dragon type, which is the Dragon's Lance. Then we have an anthology of authors. Anthologies are a great way of finding new authors to love. Read an anthology and then pick 6 books from the authors featured in the anthology. It must be one from each of the authors, not 2 books from the same author. If the anthology doesn't have at least 6 different authors, you must either choose a different anthology or read 2 anthologies to collect enough authors. I don't have any anthologies in my collection that I haven't read, and I am going to endeavor to find one with 6 different authors. So we'll see how that goes. Alright, getting into the purple prompts. We have Choose Your Party. This is about different professions of protagonists. We'll need 5 different roles to complete in the standard HRCYED and D&D, which I'm not doing, I'm doing the standard. For this one, I have none. I'm sure I can do this one fairly easily. Next, this one I have a few for, which is Choose Your Curriculum. It's time to go back to school, find 5 books based on classes you would take in school. They do not have to be nonfiction topics, but must involve the theme as a whole. For example, romance featuring musicians would work for music. Example subjects, it's only 5, but the example subjects are art, math, music, science, history, gym or sports, English literature, home economics, foreign language, and social studies. And for this one, I actually have one of the books checked off. I read the whole thing last night. It was yesterday. It was 10 hours. I stayed up late to finish it. It was so good, but that one counts for gym or sports because the main character is a fitness influencer and she spends all of her time at the gym. And that is Set on You. I will have a review for this book coming up, I believe in August is when I have that one planned. And then I have Wild for Austin, which is one that I am very much looking forward to. It's been on my TBR for a while. And then I have, for economics, I have Well Endowed by Vivian 2 or Your Reach BFF here on YouTube. Next, we have HRCYED Mashup. I don't even know what I'm going to do for this one, if I'm being honest. You're going to take a challenge from HRCYED 1 and one from HRCYED 2 and smash them together. You cannot mash up prompts that are basically the same. This next one, I really should get planning on pretty quickly, because I think this is going to be the one that is going to be the hardest, and that is It's Your Birthday. Celebrate yourself by reading around you. 7 prompts to interpret best for you and your birthday. You can interpret these as words, titles, things on the cover, themes of the book, etc. It's your birthday, so you get to decide what qualifies for the 7 prompts. And this one, I do have one set aside, and that is, again, it's either the second or the third book in that Dragon series, but the prompts are your month's birthstone. I'm December baby. So that would be turquoise, tanzanite, or zircon. I have no idea what I'm going to pick for that. A book published in your birth month, not your birth year necessarily, but your birth month, which again is December. Your zodiac sign, I'm a Sagittarius, not a Capricorn. Your Chinese zodiac, which this is the one I have a book for, and that I am Year of the Dragon, so for that one I have the Dragon's Egg. Your birth flower, which is holly or narcissus. Your birth tree, which mine is elder, and then your name meaning, which my government name means fair. Sometimes it's interpreted as white owl, but typically it's interpreted as fair, like pale. So we'll see how that goes. We have second chances and hidden gems. Sometimes you never know when something is really going to hit for you. Maybe you softy enough something that you weren't in the right headspace for. Maybe you passed on a book just because its cover is a bit ugly. Now it's time to read those kinds of books. Choose 5 different ones, and for that I have one set aside, and that is Signal to Noise by Silvia Moreno Garcia. I saw it in the bookstore. It wasn't one that I had read yet. I was really excited for it. I just haven't got around to reading it yet. I tried to read it. It was a soft DNF because I'm like, this is great. I'm just not in the headspace for something more serious. I was going through a little bit of a reader burnout, so I will be reading it for this. And that is HRCYED 3 and all of the lack of planning I've done for it. Are you doing HRCYED 3? I'd love to hear how that's going for you for planning. Have you managed to cross any off your list? I have one of many. I will be reading Wild for Austin next, So we'll see how that goes. But yeah, let me know how you're doing with your reading. Are you doing any challenges? I'd love to hear it. Don't forget to like, share, and subscribe, and I'll see you in the next one. Bye!